Well, he was kind of the front runner from the very beginning. Obviously, a lot of good things have been said about him. The Buffalo Bills franchise has done very well since he's been there, and they had some good candidates. So I think it injects a little excitement into the city, into the franchise, and I'm happy we're moving on from Dave Gettleman and the old regime. But certainly a lot of work to do. He has a very tough task. I kind of look at general managers like draft picks. We're not going to judge them after year one, maybe year two, but year three, this thing should be heading in the right direction. Now, I don't know how patient Giants fans are going to be, but exciting times. I'm happy for Giants Nation that we've hired a general manager.
Now, when you look at when Joe Schoen went to Buffalo in 2017 with Brandon Beane, they had worked together in Carolina. Then Joe Schoen went to Miami for 9 years, I believe, and then Brandon Beane, when he got the job in Buffalo, he summoned for Joe Schoen. Buffalo had not been in the playoffs for 17 consecutive years, okay?
Wow.
And they made the playoffs in their first year with Tyrod Taylor at quarterback, which did not stop them the next year from drafting Josh Allen. So the Bills in 2017 were not quite at the depths the Giants were. I get that, but they had terrible salary cap situation. They had not been in the playoffs in eons. So, don't tell Joe Schoen he can't do this pretty quickly.
I just don't have a clear-cut favorite. Obviously, Dable, because of the familiarity with him in Buffalo. But there are some candidates out there. And I don't know what his relationship is, right? You said on previous shows, tell me who the general manager is, and I'll tell you some ideas about the head coach. Well, I mean, can you get past Dable and say, okay, who's next?
Yeah,
Who
you
else does
can.
he
You
know?
can.
Okay. Who are they?
He was in Miami with Chris Greer, okay, who was the
Yep.
GM with the Dolphins. He worked for 9 years with Chris Greer in Miami. What did we hear about Flores in Miami?
They didn't like him. Greer and him did not get along.
Did not get along. So Schoen is going to have a complete pipeline to Chris Greer and say, what went down there? What do I need to know about this guy? So that is a great connection there as far as, maybe the bad stuff about Flores, you know what I mean?
Right.
Or maybe Greer says, well, it was my fault, whatever. But look, it was not all football. The reason he got fired, right? They won 7 straight games this year at one point. He had 19 wins the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I think Flores will be in for an interview. I have no doubt about that.
Yeah.
I think Daboll will be in for an interview. We already know Dan Quinn is going to be in for an interview, or the interview has been requested. They don't always take it. There'll be a couple more guys. I can't, Leslie Frazier from the Bills. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know if that'll happen. And there'll be somebody I think that we hear where we'll all say, didn't see that coming. I don't know where the connection is. Didn't see that coming. They'll bring somebody in. They'll talk to them. This is the time. No one's been hired yet. This is the time to talk to these guys. But, Daboll is obvious. I'm not saying he's a slam dunk guy. These coordinators, what would you say, seriously, Lawrence, what would you say the percentages of first-time coordinators succeeding as NFL head coaches?
Phew. I mean, I bet it's less than 20%.
Right? I was thinking 25, 30%. I
Yeah.
mean, it is the biggest
That's
crapshoot
what
of
worries
anything
me
I've
with
seen.
this Dable thing. And sure, he's a great coordinator, but that, as you guys know, it changes when you have the whole team. It just is a different animal. So that's why I was excited to see that Dan Quinn was on their list. I think he has done some good things in this league. He knows how to lead men. Leslie Frazier knows how to lead men. Um, I think the Giants' job is attractive right now. You got a nice GM. You got 2 picks in the top 10. You've got some talent on that roster. It's a place I'm sure people want to come coach, but I just don't know who the good candidates are. I really don't.
Quinn becomes an interesting name, and Lawrence, we talked about this before we start because of his experience, and a lot of people want to just point at 28-3 collapsed.
That's fine.
Cowboys defense was a great. He's got the experience, and I kind of like Quinn because you went offensive coordinator.
We know why you like him. Say
Well,
why you
he had
like him.
a little cup of tea at Hofstra, but
There
that's
you
not
go.
why.
There you
But
go.
I think you went with the coordinator route the last 3 times and it failed. So is 4th time the charm? Do you keep going down that well and hoping that it'll work?
Yeah, I don't know, and that's gonna be the biggest question, whatever ownership conveyed with Joe is, I'm sure they may sign off on a guy who's never done it again, but I would be very weary of if I was ownership of maybe getting a guy who hasn't had any success in this league. I just but if he's the right guy, he's the right guy. He's going to have to come in and interview and sell himself to ownership as well as the general manager. So I think you could see one, but if it was me, I would like to have a veteran, someone that has been there, done that before. Leslie Frazier, Flores, if everything checks out, and Dan Quinn.